was gonna say, yeah. Just trying to go out of town, and sometimes I play 7 hours away,
Yeah.
and
Why not?
it's like, you. I don't know, man. I don't understand. It's like people want to be rock stars, but nobody really wants to do the work to be a rock star. Like, they don't want to go on the road.
Dude, it's not so much for me. It's not so much the money. I could give two shits less about money. Do I like making a lot of money? Yeah, I have a huge spending limit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like spending money.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really think about it, what are you going to do? If you have the money, you're not going to be able to take it with you when you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't enjoy it when you get older. So, excuse me when I say this, fuck off while you can before you can.
Yep.
Right? So go, like, okay, even going back to the having to do something, like having to suck and sound shitty before you sound good. Dude, my first album, and I already know I'm going to get shit for this because my two band members are extremely pissed off that I started the band back up. I gave them opportunity to be a part of the band, not saying that I necessarily want them to be a part of the band, and that's going to sound even shittier. It's just I had a vision to what I'm doing now as Shattered Shell. The music I'm doing right now is exactly what I wanted to do when I first started the band.
Mm-hmm.
I started with Stephen Miller, phenomenal guitarist and vocalist. I joined his band, Bone River, when I first moved here in 2014 in the very beginning. They lost their bass player. They had just came back from being direct support for Saliva, which is a huge band. I mean, that's awesome. And then I got to be the bass player. I'm like, let's go. Turned out that the whole band was cool.
Yeah.
Well, we were going to go on tour with Save and Able, not as direct support, but as one of the bands in the beginning,
Right.
To open. And I'm like, dude, let's go. I'm down. I don't give a shit what part we're on. We got to come up with 13 grand. I don't have that money, but I'll figure out how to make it. I'll pay you some of back, We wound up breaking up 2 months before. The lead singer and I wound up he became my brother. Well, he passed away in 2017 from a drunk driver that ran a red light, and he was on a bike.
Oh, shit.
So it was unfortunate. And then I wound up, I was like, oh man, dude, I lost my brother. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to pick up the guitar. And I always remembered he was like, cause I asked him too one time, I was like, how do you do vocals? Like, how do you even write a vocal pattern? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I hum it or whistle it or whatever. And I was like, okay.
Absolutely.
I was like, I don't know if that's for me. And I'm sitting there in my room, and I'm just sitting here making this song. And I had another buddy help me kind of I was like, I'm stuck. Where do I go on this? And his name was Dan. He was the owner of Crown Alley before he moved. And he's like, dude, just do this with a guitar. And I was like, I got a full song. And I went home and I started humming. And then I was like, oh my God, now I need to put words to it.
Yeah.
So hum, and then I would put words to it. And I was like, oh my God, I can sing.
Exactly it.
It may not have been great, but I think it was a great song. It was not my style.
That's how Hetfield does it that way too.
So I came out.
I think a lot of people do it that way. I do it that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't anymore. I found myself, and I found what works for me. I just start making up words. And
cool.
I tell everybody, I'm like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of the house. Because this ain't gonna sound good.
Yeah,
it's not gonna sound good at all.
Yeah, you have to warn people, right?
Yeah,
I know,
I'm like,
I know,
and I'm so used to have a bigger, and not that I don't have a big house now, but I always have somebody there.
Oh,
and that's a huge thing for me. Like, I have to tell everybody to get out. Apology, no apology. Like, this is just my creative style. I'm gonna suck before I sound good, and sometimes it comes out good before it sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so going back to my first album sucked.
Right.
I made it with people that I was cool with, but it was never what I wanted to hear. And it wasn't what I wanted Shattered Shell to be.
Yeah, right.
So then I was like, okay, after we had we wound up, our very first show was Battle of the Bands over at Fort George. We took first place.
Oh, cool.
That was our first show.
Oh, cool.
I was like, this is awesome. And we sounded amazing.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know what happened after that.
Oh,
it went downhill.
Consistency.
They would just not stop smoking, and they were always fucking high. And I'm like,
So
you
the-
suck.
so
And
the-
there was always excuses. And then I started being a dick because I'm like, how do we go from here? And then how do we go down?
So you know
You
what
should
I-
only go higher.
Yeah, well, so I have a theory to that. I have an actual theory why bands implode and self-destruct. And I'm going to try not to sound harsh, but
I was harsh for even saying what I said. So
I think what happens, and especially, so you guys step foot out there into the real world, you have this really great show, right? Okay, well, you guys had this great show and this great that energy, right? The new energy, right?
yeah.
And then you're kind of looking back going, shit, how do we sound so good? Like, damn, like we even fooled ourselves.
100%. Even me, myself.
So then what that does is that opens up the imposter syndrome, right? Because
Okay.
then people start feeling like, oh, we got lucky. We got lucky. And then like that voice comes in that starts telling you, oh,
The
man,
degrading voice.
you're an imposter. And then what that does is, well, it's like, well, now we have to hit that mark every time. Well, that was luck. We don't even know if we can. And then see how those voices get
Yeah.
a little bit more doubtful well, now we don't even know if we can. And then what happens? Well, shit, maybe we didn't really know each other well enough, like getting into this, like if the actual dynamics and just the actual dynamics of the group is even going to work. Like, do we even get along? And then it's like we're trying to like we're figuring out who each other is at the same time as trying to like create. I mean, what is a band? A band is basically a family, dude. A band means to band, to bond,
To bond together, yeah.
to bondage. That's marriage, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I suck at it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I suck at it.
Me too.
And I hope those two members have fun. They're in a band now.
Mhm.
I think it's called Dredge or something like that. I don't even know what style of music to call them. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not my style, but like by all means, man, have fun. Get back on stage. Like
Yeah.
get out of the house. Go play shows because you're going to have an audience. I don't care what style you do.
See, my problem is that I just don't see bands working well when you want to see again. It's gonna sound harsh, but when people want to work as like we're a democracy, everybody has equal say. It's like
You need a leader.
How can everybody have equal say when responsibility isn't distributed equally?
Yeah.
And people aren't, I'm sorry, but like if there's one person who's writing everything, booking all the gigs, doing all the website stuff, all the social media stuff,
Yeah.
it's like, what do you guys even do? You guys show up with your instruments and by the way, you're lucky if they even practice their instruments when they're not around you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not equal.
It's not. And that's kind of where, and don't get me wrong, I wrote a lot of shitty music in that first album. I literally,
That's what it's all about. That's what I keep telling people. That
yeah, you have
it.
to do that.
Get the learning curve out of the way, bro.
Do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so then you could be better later.
Yeah.
Right? You get that, you wash it all away, right?
Yeah.
So I have the album and I will always be grateful for that album. It was catchy. It was butt rock.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And I'll always, I have our signatures. I have it up on my wall. And literally I just what was it, about a month ago, my bass player from back in the day when we recorded that album, he just messaged me. He's like, oh, you left Harbor Place in a douchey way and you're starting up, you're doing douchey moves again by getting rid of the first album. And I'm like, you know why I'm doing that? This is why I'm doing it, because it was never the sound I wanted for Shattered Shell. But you also have to look in it, and I'm not trying to be a dick to you, dude. Like, I appreciate what you did. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good times. We had a lot of bad times too. You know, it was a relationship that was doomed from the beginning.
Right.
Doesn't mean we can't be friends. I'm sorry that you feel the way that you do,
Yeah,
but
you're using it as a tool to grow. To like, I
Right.
want to keep growing, man. And like, and it's like, look, it's just like with any kind of bad relationship. It's like, don't go back to the bad relationship, man. It's like,
Don't do it.
It's like, it's counterproductive.
and why can't we not be friends over it? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
just want to be friends.
Yeah. Why can't we be friends? Like whatever. But like, and not to bash on him.
Me.
It is 100% me. I already know it's me. It's not you. It's me. We had a breakup, but it was me.
Hey,
it was
man.
me.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey man.
And I'm hard on people because my dad taught me, and I think he did it without trying to do it. When I was in a band with I'm still in a band with my dad.
Oh,
My dad's
cool.
72 years old.
Oh, cool.
He's probably my biggest influence and my biggest hero. He started me live at 13. My very first show was at Quarter Note at 13 years old in Sunnyvale, California. And I remember being a freshman. I was like, I'm so awesome. Like, I'm going to play with my dad. And or whatever I sounded like. I probably didn't sound that bad. But you know what I mean? Like, I was so